Hi, and welcome to the Quilting Life podcast. I'm Chelsi from Chelsi Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherri McConnell from A Quilting Life.
And today is an extra listener questions episode. It's airing Monday, July 29th. We love these episodes.
So many good questions.
So many good
today.
questions. We got a good lineup. But before we get into those, Mom is going to share a couple more new quilts.
Yes, I'm super excited. One of my absolute favorites is on the wall. This is Harbor. This is actually inspired by the Dana Point Harbor, where I've been able to go for many, many years. I actually went whale watching out of there as a newlywed and took a trip with our oldest granddaughter there, and she loves the harbor now too. And so, yes, this is all inspired by the harbor, flowers and stars and baskets for picnics and the suns, and the flying geese are meant to inspire, evoke images of the seagulls, and of course all of the colorful beach cottages and houses that you find in the area. So this one is a fat eighth friendly quilt. It's 52.5 by 57.5. I was able to use just one width of the Dresden cheater print for the backing, so that made it really nice. I did not have to piece the backing for this since it was only 52.5 inches wide. And it is beautifully quilted by Val Krieger. So
that worked perfect with the cheater print.
So excited.
Wow.
This is my favorite row quilt I've ever designed too.
Yeah.
So, and then on the table is Starbright 2. And this is a throwback to one of my very first patterns with our first collection, Bright Sun. And I wanted to make a few updates with that pattern and did that here. This was beautifully pieced by Nancy Lane. She did a gorgeous job, and Marion Bott also did a beautiful job with the quilting.
Yeah.
And then just right here, we have the Dresden's pillow from the new Dresden's pattern. There's also a wall hanging included and a table runner. And then this is just our free pattern. We mentioned in the last episode how you were able to fussy cut the Dresden from the cheater print and substitute it for a 6-inch block. And so this is just a free pattern with that Dresden fussy cut from the cheater print. So
I'm going to kind of, hold it up here. Yeah. And I also love that you shared both pillows because, so this is the fussy cut Dresden, but then Mom also made a Dresden.
The real Dresden.
Just for fun, in these low volumes, and the back are really cute.
Yeah. And one thing about this too, this is part of the kit. The kit is for the wall hanging and the pillow. And you can just use a plain background here, but since a layer cake is one of the requirements for the pattern, you can take the extra layer cake squares and piece a scrappy background. And that information is in the pattern too. So,
do you have some up-close pictures of that pillow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know people will want to see that a little closer.
Yes, we have some pictures.
So cute.
Yeah, so I think we're going to move on to some listener quilts that Billy has to share, right?
Yep. Okay, so the first one here is my mom's Sunshine quilt from her book Labor of Love, but Chelsi, you made this quilt, the original one in the book, right? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I did. It was in Coriotor fabric. It was a lot of fun to make.
Okay, so this is from Shannon. She says, hello, Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy. And she's from Ontario, Canada. Just wanted to share a photo of a quilt I did for my son and future daughter-in-law's stag and doe that was held on May 4th. What's a stag and doe?
I don't know what a stag and doe is.
I don't know. Can I Google it?
Well, I mean, I know that's like
she
deer.
said future daughter-in-law, right? So
Yeah,
maybe it's like a
stag and doe.
bachelor party that you do together?
Maybe. Or, yeah, like a
bachelorette.
party. Yeah, we'll see. We raffled it off to help them raise funds for the wedding. So maybe it's just something to help raise funds for a wedding.
It's raising funds for the wedding to celebrate spouses give them a financial boost.
A stag and doe.
Never heard of that.
Oh, gee, Billy, you could have done that.
Well, I could have used that.
That's really cool, actually. I'm glad I Googled it. That's awesome.
Wow, I learned something new.
Yeah, I was like,
that's funny. I didn't even catch that when I was going through this earlier. Okay, anyway,
funny.
Back to the quilt. It is I did Sunshine Quilt from Sherri's Labor of Love pattern book. The fabric was used fabric used was Gingham Gardens by My Mind's Eye for Riley Blake, and turned out really good there. So thank you for sharing that. And that's sort of a little bit of both of your quilts, I guess, since Chelsi helped with that.
Yes.
Stag and Doe. Wow. Yep.
Stag and Doe.
Just a couple months too late from learning about that.
Yes.
Darn.
Okay, so the next one here is nope, not that one. It's the Heart of the Home. And that's my mom's quilt that was published in American Patchwork and Quilting, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's cute.
I just wanted to say thank you for all the great podcasts. They're always fun and informative and create a real sense of warmth. I wanted to share my Heart of the Home quilt. I was already making way too many quilts this year when I saw this pattern and heard about the quilt along. I couldn't resist. It's so pretty and fun to make. I knew immediately that I wanted to use it making a combination of Nantucket Summer and Shoreline by Camille Ross Kelly. I had a Nantucket Summer jelly roll I had been saving, and Shoreline was just coming out, so the timing was perfect. My only problem was that the pattern is for 2 honey buns, and jelly roll strips cut in half are a little bit short. So I thought about all the times you've told us about resizing something, and I used my quilt math skills. I downsized the finished blocks, and it all worked out. I quilted it myself. I'm a beginner long armor and just quilt for myself and friends, so it isn't terribly fancy, but I really love it. I look forward to many more great podcasts, patterns, and fabric lines to come, and that is from Kelly.
Yeah, and that was gorgeous.
It was so pretty.
Those two collections mixed together are beautiful too. So
yeah,
I've seen a few of those quilt-along quilts in Camille's fabrics that are really pretty.
Awesome. And now this one here is, and it's funny because they both came in back to back, like pretty close within a few days of each other. So this one is Chelsi's Hearts at Home, but a little combination with my mom's Heart of the Home quilt from that same magazine. So this says, "Hi, Sherri and Chelsi. I enjoy listening to your podcast while I cut out fabrics. It makes my least favorite part of quilting enjoyable." And I think that's a good thing to do. That's when podcasts really come in handy, when you're doing something you need to do but you don't really want to do.
Right.
That's for me it's laundry. So I can do that. Fold laundry.
Keeps you focused.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so back to this. I had bought Chelsi's Hearts at Home 1 pattern when Strawberry Lemonade was released. I decided to use that fabric for it. Then the Heart of the Home pattern came out in American Patchwork and Quilting. I love the Heart, Home, and Stars centers. So what she did is that she took those centers that she liked from your pattern, Mom, and she used those and put them on the Hearts at Home.
Did kind of a mashup. Cute. Yeah, it was super cute.
I like the mashup.
Yes.
So,
it's adorable.
Yeah, so she said, she attached the photo of the completed quilt in Strawberry Lemonade fabric.
Yeah.
And thought you'd enjoy seeing the combination, which
so cute.
Yeah. Just beautiful.
That's pretty.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, pretty neat to come up with that too, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So those are all the listener quilts for today. Thank you for those. And now, like we've mentioned, it is a listener question episode. So I'll just sort of help my mom and sister get through these. And by reading these, there is a couple that are more directed towards me at the end as well that I've found. So I put those at the end today. Okay. So first question here, and this is one that you forwarded to me, Mom, so I actually didn't have a name on there, but it is, what is the most economical quilted product to sell with the best revenue? Fact is, quilting is expensive, and even a pillow can be $25 to make minus the labor. So therefore, it's hard to get as much as it's worth unless you're selling to a fellow quilter who will probably just make their own. Is it smarter to sell product or pattern? And I'm guessing, is this coming from someone that's trying to get into...
Yeah, I wish I had saved the name, but yeah, this is just someone who wants to make money from their hobby, which is quilting, but definitely, unless you can assembly line sew something and it's very easy to make, it is difficult to make a lot of money selling a quilted item, I feel like, unless you really have a market. Of course, it's going to be more financially profitable to sell a pattern because you do the work one time and then you get it printed and you can sell it over and over again. So that is the best option if you're wanting to do that.
You think of all the time you'll spend making that project over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
But then you also need to like be able to essentially advertise that you're doing patterns and find a platform to sell them on and everything like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do very well selling small bags. I feel like you can make bags and kind of assembly line sew it and make some good profit there. There are people that want a handmade quilted bag, and I'm not sure about pillows because, like she said, you can. It's hard to price that so high that you're going to profit a lot.
Yeah.
The more simple things, I feel like the smaller the project, the more you're going to profit. You can make keychains or little bags or stuff like that, and your profit margin will probably go up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next one here, I really love your podcast. The three of you are so natural and friendly. Three of you together are so natural and friendly. It's a pleasure to watch you all work. I was wondering if Sherri and Chelsi have ever thought of hosting a retreat. You both have such interesting ideas and are great teachers. I think it would be a no-brainer to have a retreat. I would definitely participate. Billy could get some good video footage for a later podcast or video. Thank you for continuing this podcast. You've really helped me and many others get through a rocky pandemic year, and I'm so very happy that you have maintained it through to now. Here's to many more years, and that's from Deb.
Yeah, that was a great question because we actually have talked about this on more than one occasion, right?
And recently.
Very recently, too.
This is something I really see us doing. It's just the planning. And I'm dying at the part about you, Billy, because I really do imagine Billy just like
being there.
Just
I would be.
Yeah, it would be so cool. And we could get you the mini mic, like the mini one, and you could like walk around and ask, "What's your favorite pre-cut?" Or what's your this? Yeah.
We even have some friends who've just started a little business where they help out with retreats, and that's kind of what prompted us to talk about it recently, because I said, hey, we could get Tammy and Dawn to plan our make and takes and help with it, because there is so much work involved. Yes.
Yeah, and you want to make it this like awesome experience for everyone, and all those little things. The way I imagine it, I
think it would be super fun I think finding the venue is the hardest part of the
We've talked about one place.
Yeah, we've talked. And I've gone to some retreats. I went to one retreat and it was limited to 50, which actually is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
You don't want tons of people at your retreat.
Yeah, you want to make it personal too.
Yeah, we were all able to fit into one house. And there were actually 4 women that did this retreat together. And so that really helped because they had so many responsibilities with cooking and preparing the food and preparing the goodies and arranging the classes. So there's a lot to it, but I can really see us doing it.
Yeah.
It would be super fun.
To not give too much away, but I think in the past I've heard you guys talk about a venue that's here in Logandale, right? But I don't know if you were thinking of somewhere outside of here.
We are now.
Where there's more
where it might be
accommodations
easier to
for rooms and stuff.
Better accommodations.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's the hard part. If you don't rent a property like a house or something, then you kind of have to make everybody get their hotel accommodations on their own, because there's no way that you can make any money if you're paying for that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, so, TBD.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Potentially.
Yes.
TBD.
Yes.
Potentially in the future,
That's
which
funny.
I'd be down for. I would like to be a part of that too. Okay, so the next one. Hello, Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy. Your podcasts bring me so much joy in my life. I watch them on my TV while quilting and listen to them again while on the road. I just can't help myself. I successfully pieced Maple Remix by Sherri.
Ooh,
my adult daughter watched me piecing it together and enjoyed it so much that she searched patterns and requested Chelsi's Hello Fall. And no, she has no patience at the moment to quilt herself, but now that she knows how much work goes into a quilt, she has so much more appreciation for them. that she wants all my quilts for herself. She said, no chance for that. She has to share them with their siblings. So now to her question. She says, my question is, have you ever been so excited about a quilt that you couldn't stop working on it, and your husband's had to take over care of the kids so that you could just keep on quilting? It's like reading a book that you can't put down. Or are you disciplined and only quilt on a time schedule you set for yourself? For me, when reading a good book or starting a new quilt that I'm all excited about, I can't stop. Wishing you three a great 2 weeks until your next podcast.
Yeah, I love that question. And when I read it, I thought it was so funny because that was this quilt for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, I could hardly wait to make this quilt. It was the very first. Well, I actually did my Dresdens first because I had to get those done.
Yeah.
But I love this quilt. And I couldn't stop. I made it in a weekend. And poor Val, I kept texting her pictures. And so
that's funny.
Have you had a quilt like that too?
I just feel like I love that she compared this to reading a book, because there is nothing harder than stopping a good book that you're reading and you just can't put it down, and there's responsibilities. But I would just say sewing with Raspberry Summer, I have felt that way. I've made 2 quilts so far that I made them rather quickly.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't stop. And yeah, I love it. I know the feeling that you're talking about. So yeah. Normally, and my husband, actually, I'm glad you brought up the husbands, because he just always knows now. He just pops right in and he'll ask me, hey, are you done sewing, or like, should I go start dinner? And he's really good about it.
So every once in a while you get a quilt like that, it sounds like, but not every quilt you sew is.
Not every quilt is that way.
I have to finish this.
Right.
I'll be honest, sometimes it's pulling teeth to get me to it just might.
Especially if there's a lot of tedious, repetitive.
Yeah.
But then I listen to podcasts when I do stuff like that too.
Hey, and I listen to Audible now, so I do both at the same. So it's like, I just keep sewing.
Right.
I actually proclaimed today, I was like to Billy, I got 1 Audible credit today. I can listen to a book again, and I have another quilt to sew.
That's awesome.
I love that. But this is so me. As you were reading this, I'm like, oh, this sounds like her daughter sounds me. Like, I wanted all the quilts for myself.
That too.
And it's so funny. The line that says no chance for that is so my mom. Yeah. She is like, nope, Chelsi, because I would take them all. Yeah. And then my siblings know it too. They're like, Chelsi probably took that.
Okay, so the next one here, I really enjoy your podcast and YouTube videos as well as your patterns. My question is it possible to add block size under quilt dimensions on the title page of a pattern? I find it would help me to visualize the size and scale of the block better, which would help me determine if it would be better as a lap size or bed size quilt, or possibly a wall hanging. Also, I have an AccuQuilt, so I would know if I could use my dies as well. Thank you for everything you do. And Billy, she actually sent this question before my wedding. She said, congratulations to your upcoming wedding and happy birthday, Chelsi. So thank you for all those.
I love celebrating my birthday throughout the year.
I feel like we do have the block sizes inside all of our patterns.
Yes.
So, and I used to always put it on the title page right underneath the quilt size. I have to look and see what's been going on lately, but I know that.
Yeah, you don't do that now.
I know that when the block is finished within the pages of the pattern, so you could really quickly turn and see what it's supposed to be. So I feel like that's helpful. We don't usually show that information on the listing. We just have the quilt size, the overall dimension. So but it's in the pattern somewhere is, I guess, the easy answer, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But then, because the overall size is typically on the front, right?
Yeah. Well, the overall size is usually on the back cover.
It's on the back.
You just flip the pattern over and it's
so
right
there's
there.
no sizes on the front page.
Not on the front page.
Okay.
It's just the image of the quilt and kind of our logo and stuff like that.
So if someone's buying on Etsy, but in your description, you give the overall size.
Yes, we give the overall size and the fabric requirements.
Because I remember looking up that. So if you did pick up a physical copy in a quilt shop, you could turn over, see the overall size without purchasing it.
Right.
Also on Etsy, you can go and the description will give you the overall size and fabric requirements without purchasing it. Then you can sort of decide
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes Etsy sometimes makes it kind of hard. You have to click show more
Yes.
to get the full description. So I get a lot of emails actually on Etsy saying, what are the fabric requirements for this? How big is it? And
Same.
they just haven't, it's just knowing how to use the platform.
Yeah.
So the more familiar you are with how to get that information.
Yeah, because sometimes when I do your quilt videos and maybe one of you forgot to mention the size, I usually go to your Etsy,
Yes.
go to the description, find the size, and put it in the video description.
Right.
Yeah.
So that people can see it there too.
Yes.
So, okay. Because that would essentially give you an idea if it is bed size, lap, or
Right.
wall hanging, right?
Yes.
Just by looking at the overall size.
The overall dimensions.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. The next question here, I have some quilting fabric and yardage that I purchased before pre-cuts were readily available. So I'm guessing that was quite a while ago then, I'm guessing.
It's probably got to be at least 30 years old.
30. I was going to say 20, but 30,
25 to 30 probably.
Gotcha. The fabric is still in good condition. Would you cut the fabric into pre-cuts like fat quarters, or would you keep it all in yardage? I thought it might be easier to handle in smaller cuts, but would I regret cutting it up later if I needed a large piece?
I kind of think I would keep it together until you have a specific pattern in mind.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say that because what if you decide you want to use it for a large border? What if you won't?
Right.
What if you decide you need it for border and sashing or maybe backing? Or I wouldn't make a decision and cut it up like that until I knew exactly what I was using it for.
Right.
Then you make that decision.
Yes.
And it's still nice. It's still good fabric. And so just keep it. And when you find something, you're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Then cut it up. Don't cut it up yet.
That being said, I guess if you have a yard each of 15 different prints, I guess you could cut a fat quarter bundle from it and then you'd still have so much yard. It just depends on what a lot is. But
yeah.
otherwise, I would probably just wait until
I guess that's true. Like
found
how
the
much you actually
project.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and that was from Jane, by the way.
Okay.
Next one here. I recently purchased the Tulip and Vine pattern Sherri designed with Laguna Sunrise, and I love it. Sherri mentioned that she used EQ8 for her pattern design. I was wondering if when we purchase a pattern, would it also be possible to have access to EQ8 files? This would make recoloring it so much easier since the designer already created the file. Just wondering because I'm fairly new to EQ8 and it seems like the first thing I want to do when I purchase a pattern is get it in there to play with the fabric selection. Curious to hear if there is a reason why that would or would not be possible.
I think, unfortunately, because there's some bad eggs out there, that designers wouldn't want to share that file because it would just make it too easy for someone to completely plagiarize what you've done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And that's like the sad thing about it is
because it doesn't even necessarily give sizes, but just the...
Well, it does.
It does.
Oh, it
you would
does as
have
well.
every single...
everything at your disposal for it.
And the way that's what's copyrighted. You know, your pattern, your writing, your techniques,
writing is what...
and those diagrams that would be in that EQ file. Because you might have a block and put it together completely different from the way somebody else puts it together, but the way that you do it would be in that file, and that would just be so unfortunate.
And I also don't design each pattern as its own EQ file. I do it by collection. So I have every single file includes all my patterns for the new collection. I don't know how you would even separate that.
So you can, here's
you
an EQ tip and I learned this from Natalie because I had the same thing. I had all of my patterns from a collection in an EQ file, but I just needed to send one of the files. And actually it was for something very similar to this. It was for that Heart of the Home pattern that was in the magazine. They did ask me to send the EQ file to them. And so I had reached out to Natalie to ask how I do it. And what you do is you make a copy of the file. So you actually have two files that are exactly the same, but you name the new file something else.
And delete the other patterns.
And then you delete the other patterns.
And delete. Other patterns.
So then each quilt has its own file.
Well, no, then you have a file with all of them, and then you have a file with just the one that you left there.
I have been trying to do this.
You can do it, but the thing that I have not been able to figure out how to do is all those other blocks are still in the other file.
Yeah.
But not the quilt. I haven't figured out how to delete all of those
I know how to
blocks.
do it.
Oh.
You delete all unusable blocks. I'll show you.
Oh, okay. Well, then we taught
and
each
then
other
it automatically deletes the blocks that are not used
in that quilt.
Oh,
okay. You're going to have to show me that.
Because it helps my file size go down if I do that. Because you mess around so much. You have hundreds of versions of blocks in there. And I'm just like, what?
Okay. Well, I just learned something too then. This was a great question because it led to those two.
Natalie is the queen of EQ.
Yes.
So, I mean, if we had a question, we could ask her.
Yes. I always reach out to her when I have a question.
Well, also then another follow-up with this. So other people get EQ8 just to like design their own quilt patterns that they want to make. Is it just, it's a tool for that, right?
It's a tool for that. And you could take a pattern that you buy and you could put it into EQ yourself based on your pattern directions to color it.
That was my next question.
If they want to do that, that's fine.
Is it how, so let's say let's just take the one that she took, for example, like Tulip and Vine. Would that be pretty time consuming to go in and put that in yourself?
That one actually, those stems are a little bit involved. So the vine section of the quilt, the tulip sections are more easy, but it would take a little bit of time. I guess that's why people pay us for the patterns. So
this is what's really funny. But when I decided I wanted to start designing quilt patterns, I needed to get EQ, but I wanted to mess around on Mom's EQ because I just thought, this is going to be so simple. And Mom was like, hey, there's a learning curve. Like, this is something totally new. This is a program you haven't used before. And I just thought I was going to go in and ace it. No, not true. I was like, what? And now it's a breeze. Now I'm just like, clickety, click, click, click.
I think anyone can learn EQ. I think it's really user-friendly, and they have great tutorials. The company does.
They keep making it better. They add actual Moda collections in there now. All these things. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, someone could buy a pattern. Obviously, you could just photocopy it. That would be breaking the law, and then giving it away or whatever.
It just happened to a friend of mine. That was not good.
Yeah. So I know that happens. Someone could also then take it, put it in EQ8 as themselves, pretty much copy it and then do it. But at least it would be a little more than just you giving it to them and then having them mass produce it. So so that sort of counters that a little bit then, right? Not sharing the EQ8.
It's hard to get the message across. You know, I feel like so many people are photocopying patterns and sharing with friends, and what they don't realize is that people, this is their income source, is selling patterns. And so it's hard. And sometimes even quilt guilds, you know, I get letters from both. I get letters from guilds who absolutely understand copyright, and they reach out.
Which is huge.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
But then you have some people that don't seem to understand that that's a copyrighted.
But you also do for guilds. You'll give a discount for like a bundle of them.
Totally.
Right.
Oh,
yes.
You know,
I love when they reach out, and I'm always like, this is the discounted price.
If you have 30 people.
If you have 30 people in your guild and you're going to sew with my pattern, of course I'm going to do wholesale for you.
Of course.
Yes.
Every time. And we love that. I think it's so cool that they reach out and that's the pattern they're using.
Right.
And I'm always so happy to give that discount when that comes up.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Mary. That led to a lot of different questions. And EQ8 and copyright. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one, greetings from Kansas. I'm a longtime fan of your fabrics and a podcast listener from the very beginning. I love all of your content and always have great things to take away from each episode. I finally have a question to ask. I wonder if you talk about how you juggle multiple sewing tasks at the same time. For example, I'm working on a quilt for myself. I make project bags here and there and also want to get some seasonal projects in at the same time. How do you transition and keep everything straight? I'd love to hear how you navigate this issue when you want to do, in all caps, all the things at once. Thanks again for all you do. Billy, loved your input and perspective, and I look forward to the next podcast with appreciation. And that is from Janet.
Can I say
Love
something
this
first?
question. Yes.
Great question. And it is so funny because I am always the one telling Mom, I can't do it all. Like, I can't do all the things, but I want to do all the things. And Mom had brought up, there was a book you'd read or something, and someone said, but what is your all? What is all the things for you? And the truth is you can't do it all.
Yeah.
It's just not healthy.
Yes.
And so juggling a bunch of things at the same time is sometimes really this game of when is something going to topple over. And it's all that time management. What do you want to do first? What do you want to accomplish first? And I don't know.
Yeah, no.
You're the queen of this. You read all these books.
That's exactly it. I feel like it might be different for everybody. I know people that can only make one quilt at a time.
Me. Oh, wait, no, not me.
No, not you, because sometimes you'll have 2 different quilts cut out and you'll be sewing on both. I don't think you did that this time, but in the past
no, I didn't do it this time.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how does she do that? But then I guess I kind of do it because I have works in progress that go throughout the year.
You're right. I haven't sewn 2 quilts at the same time since Strawberry Lemonade.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's helped.
I think it helps. When I'm doing a quilt for a pattern release, a fabric collection, I feel like I need to finish that quilt before I start the next quilt.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, right now I have a whole bunch of things I want to finish. I just finished a scrappy half square triangle series on my blog. So I have all those blocks ready to finish. Moda blockheads just wrapped up.
Yeah.
So I have, I think, 42 12-inch blocks and 42 6-inch blocks that I've got to decide how I'm going to put them together.
7 times 6. 7 times 6.
So
am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. A 6x7. But I have to decide, do I want to make 1 quilt or 2 quilts? And then I have some works in progress that have been going on that I need to get finished. But yeah, sometimes what I do is I will take a day of the week. For instance, Saturday mornings are always just something for me. So if I want to make myself a bag or a table runner or something for my home, usually that Saturday morning sewing is just for me.
Does that make you happy?
Yeah, I feel like it really helps me just kind of keep my joy in it. I never do what I call work sewing on Saturday morning. So
see, my joy Saturday morning is sleeping in. And like having enchiladas for breakfast.
Yes. Oh, that sounds so good. But yeah, when I finish up here in the office, I usually try to finish up here by noon or 1, eat lunch, and then get a little sewing done in the afternoon.
Amazes me.
But yeah, those are usually things for the blog or things for...
When do you find time to read?
I usually read in the afternoon or on the weekends.
And you watch shows with Dad, and you go on walks.
Well, I haven't been walking. It's too hot.
It's too hot. It's dangerous hot.
I just can't.
Okay.
Well, but you do like your project thing. Maybe that would be some good advice for then is that, yeah, you want to do them all, but maybe you still need to separate at least into different days.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well,
because
I like that.
if you get too jumbled up, it's easier to quit everything.
Yeah.
I found. And
That's
this can be stuff not even anything to do with quilting.
Yeah.
If you take on too many things at once, even though I get it, you want to do every single one of them.
Right.
But if you try to do them, if you get it too mixed, you're likely to quit all of them. Whereas so have themed days like work in progress Wednesday. On Wednesdays, if I get a chance to sew, I'm going to work on a work in progress. And
totally Tuesday.
Friday is bags, or Saturday.
Can you make a blog post with these suggestions?
Yes. So, yeah. And the other thing that I feel like is most helpful is just reviewing frequently, reviewing what's on your to-do list. And because you might change your mind.
Laundry.
I do. Yeah.
I'm feeling really silly today. I'm sorry.
But no, I review every Sunday everything I've got going for the week.
That's Kimberly, remember?
Yeah.
She's like, don't ask me till Sunday.
Yeah. So I do. I review every week. And sometimes something that I thought I was going to get to that week, I just change my mind, and that's okay.
Because you can still be essentially doing all those different projects at the same time, but just different days of the week, and still get them wrapped up whenever.
Yeah.
So I guess it's different for different people, though, too.
But yeah, some people...
Like you said, some people can't do that at all and have to finish one thing and then move to the next.
Yeah. I loved this question, Janet.
Yeah.
I thought it was fabulous.
Yeah, this was a great question.
Okay, so the next one, love your podcast, patterns, and fabric line. Wish I could get more of strawberry lemonade. Hint, and then she wrote, hint, hint, ... And I wonder if this was after it was already announced that the reprint came. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know because, and I did look, and the reprint strawberry lemonade shows that it's shipping at the end of August. So
that's earlier than
I thought. So if you're looking for strawberry lemonade, yes, at the end of next month, you should be able to get that. And I would get it because I just can't imagine that they reprinted a ton of it. So I feel like you should.
Yeah.
And I know Fat Quarter Shop does show
they reordered the whole thing,
everything that they have coming, and there's a notify me when available. And I feel like you can reach out to your own local shop as well and say, did you reorder this? Can you put my name on a list to be notified when you get it? So yeah
because I saw that. I was like, maybe she already knows, or maybe she's like, hey, send me some strawberry lemonade.
My stash has dwindled, so
my stash actually I have some.
Do you have some?
Oh, I have almost the whole collection that I haven't cut up. I've been meaning to post bundles, and I don't have time because, except the low volumes, those went so fast.
You guys are getting some more of the reorder, right?
I actually didn't reorder.
I didn't reorder.
Oh. No.
Well, that's surprising. Why not?
Because Raspberry Summer is a sister collection, and I'm ordering a lot of this.
Also, I was in Dallas when they opened up the reorder window.
I didn't even know. I got it through an email.
I got an email, and I didn't have my computer. I was so busy that I didn't even really have time to think about it.
And I still have some left, so that's why.
And I have enough left to get me through. So.
Okay. All right. So now to her question, I was wondering if you have a tutorial on how to bind a quilt with a scalloped edge. I have a quilt that my mom made, but it did not get finished before she passed. I had it quilted, but I need to do the binding. I will surprise my brother with this quilt from my mom once it's completed. I have noticed the wall hanging behind Billy, so this one right here.
Yes.
And absolutely love it. Any help would be greatly appreciated so I can finish this quilt. And she said she will send us a picture once she's done.
Oh, yay.
So that is from Kathy.
Yeah. And that was such a good question because Billy and I have talked about doing a tutorial for this before. We have it on our list. So maybe, things will slow down a little bit for us with this new collection release in August, September. So definitely look for that this fall. I know you probably want to finish your quilt before that, but we will be doing a tutorial.
So crazy.
We don't have a tutorial on the channel right now, but we had talked about before. Then we got this question. I was telling my mom, I said, let's put it on the podcast so that we can really hold ourselves accountable for to do it.
Yeah.
Guys, summer is almost over. My kids are starting school soon.
I know.
This is crazy.
From the date this podcast airs, there's less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks. But this is what's great, you guys. I'm caught up. Now I can, guys, I won't go into that. I'm just so excited that I'm all caught up.
Yeah, that's me too. Back to that question of doing all the things.
Yeah.
We really won't have new collection sewing to do until after the first of the year.
Yes.
So we can both basically sew whatever we want this entire fall.
Because when do you think we'll get new fabric for the next collection?
I'm thinking not till January, February.
Wow.
So yeah, we can catch up on all the things.
Nice. I'm doing it.
Yes.
Maybe Billy and I can do more videos.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm always...
Billy's like, yeah.
can always do that. Okay, so the next one, I don't have it on your outline. It was a little longer. I just decided I'd read it, but there's a couple of questions attached to it as well. This is from Penny. She said, hi, Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy. I only recently discovered your podcast. I love it. I've been binge watching / listening and am now into the 2024 podcast.
Wow.
So yeah, like we talked about, it's been 4 years. So she's got through 3.5 years of it. I know you have heard this multiple times, but I absolutely love the dynamics between the three of you, and the quilting advice is spot on. I did manage to get a charm pack of strawberry lemonade. She said in parentheses, beautiful and and thirst quenching. I've also pre-ordered 2 charm packs of Laguna Sunrise. I made my first quilt in about 2012. It got put away, and I finally finished it about 2 years later. I got my sewing out again in 2020, making masks, and then started new quilts for both my now adult girls. And again, they got put away. Needed the dining room. She needed the dining room table, so she had to clear some space. I gotcha. I just finished my second quilt. I made a baby quilt that is not a crib size quilt. I put a wide satin binding on it, as my intention was to make it a blankie. It came out cute, but I hope that the parents don't look at it too closely. My stitching is a little erratic, and not all the corners meet on my simple 3-inch patchwork squares. I'm still trying to find my consistent 1/4-inch seam. Also, my daughter's quilts are back out and are works in progress. That's awesome. So now to her questions. First question is, and this one's more for me here. So she asked, how do I find a listing of everything you've ever put out on your YouTube channel? I know how to find the podcasts in numerical order, but I can't seem to find a master list that I go through and select videos that are topic specific that I might find helpful. So I'll answer this first, and then the next one is more for you guys. So there's a couple ways. We do have playlists on the home screen of our YouTube channel. There's one that we get there's a lot of videos on there, but it's quilt patterns and projects. So basically any quilt that my mom or sister have made is on that list. So if we ever do an individual video for them, we put that up. I also put like my mom's works in progress videos on that because she's showing other projects and quilts. So there's those. There's also the how-to videos, which isn't as long of a list, but if you click on that and then it brings up a list and you can scroll down and that'll show every tutorial that we've ever done. So any tutorial video will be in the how-to list, and so that would be the best place to go if you have a question. Now, like our last question, like we don't have a video on a scallop binding, but when we do that, that will be in that list. And there's also like a tips list, so just little things that my mom might do around the sewing room. I also put like your sewing room videos in there for both my mom and sister, because they just give little tips about how they organize and manage their sewing room. And then there's also some planning and organization playlists. So between there, I mean, you can always click on videos and just start scrolling through. I think we're over like 500 videos now on the channel, so that would take a while, but hopefully those categories help you a little bit, and anyone else who is thinking the same thing. So like, for instance, if you are asking, do we have a video on like curve piecing or something, right? Which we do. If you click on the how-to videos and scroll down, you'll eventually find that curve piecing tutorial.
Something else that I've done when I need to send a link to somebody is I will make sure that I'm on the channel and hit the search button on the channel. And you have to make sure that it's not the YouTube in general search button, that you're searching the channel. And so say somebody did ask me, hey, I think I remember that you did a curved piecing video, but I can't find it. Then I will just go to our channel and I'll search curved piecing, and then that video will come up, and then I can share the link with them. So sometimes for me, that's faster than scrolling through.
Yeah. So if you do have a direct
if you have
question,
a direct topic,
you can just type it in.
Yeah.
YouTube does a pretty good job if we have it, and if not, nothing will really show up. It'll look for those keywords.
Yes.
Okay. The second question then is one you guys can answer. So I have purchased several of Chelsi's patterns, Hearts at Home and United, she put in parentheses. When I receive the patterns, it states to go to a website and click on a link that will take you to direction changes that were made after the pattern was published. And I talked to my mom about this before, Chelsi.
Oh, okay.
I do not see the link on Chelsi's site. So essentially, does that mean that there were no changes made after it was published?
Which pattern was it?
The one she wrote down here was United and Heart. Well, actually, she put Heart of the Home, but maybe it just might have been a mistake of Hearts at Home.
I know that's been so confusing because that was only in the magazine so far. Yeah. I am coming out with a pattern next month for it, and it is going to have a different name to try to alleviate some of this confusion.
Yeah, that's been tough.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, if you go to, because I think you do have a pattern correction.
I do.
But I think recently I feel like there haven't been any pattern corrections
No,
to
I
add.
haven't had any.
We're just so blessed to have Natalie, who works with us on our patterns.
She is so thorough.
She is such a
It is
thorough
incredible.
tech editor that it's
So then let's talk
incredible.
about this link, though, because this is something that is on some other ones.
I could go to it right now. I'm actually going to check it.
Okay. But basically, so if someone buys a pattern, there's a separate thing they get that says, hey, there's been some changes.
Well, no, if you just go to the website,
okay.
they're all there listed.
Yeah.
Most designers have a web page where their pattern corrections are listed.
Yeah. So you go to
okay.
my blog, you go to the top right-hand corner, you hit pattern corrections.
Yes.
And it says, thank you for stopping by the pattern corrections. There is actually one for Hearts at Home too, but it's not something major. And then
United.
United is not on there.
Not in there. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
then
I
that would
made
make
that
sense
pattern.
Yeah.
why she
Yeah.
why it's so
But I
essentially
did just find it.
if there's nothing there, that just means there was no corrections needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I just found it.
And you can always
it's on
email
there.
any designer.
Oh, but she did say don't see the link on Chelsea's site. So
It's
it's
on
on the
there.
top right. Say it again.
So you go to my blog and you hit the 3-bar icon
On
in
the
the
top
top
right.
right-hand corner, and then it'll cause a drop down, and there will be a few things listed, and
It's
it'll
like the
say
menu.
Yeah, the menu, and it'll say pattern corrections, and you click on it, and it's right there.
Okay.
It would. So I'm wondering if she's checking my Etsy.
Okay.
There would
Right.
be nothing on my Etsy site. It
Right.
would
I
be
see.
my www.chelseastratton.wordpress.com.
Yeah. So I actually wrote that wrong, or I read it wrong because I'm reading it now. It states
Okay.
go to a website and click on a link, and so that's your website. So
Yeah.
Chelsea's blog is always in the description as well. What she just said, and
Yeah.
Both
that's
of our
where you can find it.
websites are on our patterns too, I believe.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
can always
Yeah.
find the website and
Yeah.
on the pattern.
But to answer your question, United doesn't have any pattern corrections. But if you do have a question, please email me. I'd love to answer your, any questions you have about that pattern.
Yeah.
Okay.
To help out.
Cool.
Sometimes it's more like reading the instructions and
Right.
seeing how the technique used.
Right.
So yeah,
See, I didn't even know there were pattern corrections, so I learned a lot from
it's a
these
buffer.
listener
It's
questions.
just in case you really
Yeah.
messed up on something.
Gotcha. So to wrap it up, she said, thanks so much. Keep doing what you're doing. You threw a breath of fresh air in the world that can be chaotic, topsy-turvy, and not always nice. It helps me confirm that there are some really nice people out there.
Oh, I love that.
That's from
'cause-
Penny.
Yeah, I love that. We can all use all the kindness we can get. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last one is, again, I'll answer this one. It's love you guys, the podcast, the fabrics and patterns, and all that you do is fabulous. I watch y'all's podcast on my iPad and wish I could comment in the chat, but I always get an error message. It happens watching any YouTube like yours or Fat Quarter Shop. I know that it probably is something with an Apple device. And then she said, I know that technology wizard Billy can probably walk me through what I need to do. Thank you
The wizard.
in advance. So from Melissa. So I don't know if I'm a wizard with technology, but I would first look. You cannot leave a comment on a YouTube video unless you have logged into a Google account. And so if you have a Gmail, then that Google account would work for YouTube. But let's say you don't have a Gmail account with the email through Google, then they'll never let anybody, an unverified user, make a comment. So that would be my first thing. If
I
you
didn't know that.
If you do
Yeah,
have,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, if you do have an account and you're logged in, then I'm stumped. But I would bet that you might just not have made a Google account yet. Maybe you don't want to, and that's fine. But then it won't allow you to leave any comments.
Yeah.
So this was through my email. So if you hear this and you want to respond to it again, just let me know if that worked or not. That'd be good for me to know as well.
Yeah, and I was wondering too, because this email, I actually forwarded this one to you.
Oh, okay.
And I was wondering, because she actually met us at Quilt Market in the fall, and I remember talking to her. But I was wondering if she was confused. If it's a live stream, you know how you can
Oh, yeah.
talk in a live stream, but if it's not a live stream, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like our podcasts are never live streamed.
No, never.
So
That
they're
makes
always
sense.
recorded earlier and then,
That's another good point. So a live, like Fat Quarter Shop does one every Friday morning.
right.
And even if you watch it later, you can open up that little chat box on the right side of the screen and see what people are commenting. But if you're not watching it live when it's going, then you won't be able to put anything in that either.
Yeah.
And then also, for a regular video, which majority of ours are, we've done some live streams. We're usually not here or in the sewing room. We're usually downstairs. Then you can leave something when it's live, but for all of our other ones, there's no. So if you're watching a replay of a live stream, there's no live chat, obviously. But yeah, if you're just watching a video and trying to leave a comment, then you'll need an account, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wish we could do more live streams, but it's so hard to coordinate with the scheduling to do a live stream for us where, Chelsi has a young family and you're driving an hour plus to get here and just to do that. But maybe we can.
Yeah, I always think I'm
wanna
always up
do
for it.
a couple every year or maybe a quarterly live stream. I can see that working.
Yeah, I want to do it because I like.
It was fun when we were at Fat Quarter Shop doing the live.
So fun.
Yes.
It was awesome.
I feel like we need another person to come out and help monitor the comments.
Yeah.
Besides
that would help.
the three of us. Yes.
Well, let's
I
see
wish
here.
Billy was at Fat Quarter Shop to see. I know you got pictures, but I wish he was there to see how everything ran.
Yeah.
In person
for the live stream.
Yes.
Now we can maybe look at doing this. I'm not promising it, but maybe our next listener question episode. Maybe we could try to do it live.
When is that?
So
what month
do
is
it
that?
on September 30th. That's our next
30th?
third month. So
Okay.
just throwing it out there.
So that's a Monday.
Yep, it's Monday, September
And we
30th.
can show Raspberry Summer quilts in it too.
Yeah.
Can you show? Oh yeah, You can
Yeah, we
obviously
could do
show
like
me.
a
Show
little
them right
trunk
now.
show.
A mini trunk
A mini
show.
trunk show.
So maybe we could shoot for something like that. That's a pretty good
because
idea.
Mondays are usually a pretty good day for you.
And me.
And you.
And me. And my kids are in school.
Yep,
And the kids will be in school.
And my wife is off of work on Mondays.
Yes, so
she could come out.
She could be our fourth
I could
person
tell her
to help.
she
You know
actually
what,
doesn't
Mace?
have that Monday off.
So
She'll come out here.
Mason
Yeah.
needs to help with the quilts. He's tall.
Hey,
Yeah, he
Mason's off on Monday
He's
too.
off on Mondays.
Me and Chelsea's spouses have Mondays off, so
yes.
no excuses.
Between those two, we'll
Yeah.
get it done.
Let's tentatively plan a live stream.
I mean,
for
Isabel's
that day.
5 feet tall and Mason's 6'2", but
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay.
I like it.
Thank you.
Goals.
So thank you for that question because you just got us. A lot has come from these questions more than just
Yes,
answering
it's
them
been
today.
great.
It's been good for us.
All right, so I do have one new Apple podcast to share, and as a reminder, if you are a listener on the Apple Podcast platform and you want to leave us a review there, that's great. That's still the number one podcasting platform in the world and helps sort of generate some more activity for us. So this one here is titled My New Favorite Podcast. So happy to have stumbled upon this podcast. The easy flow of conversation between the three of you is so welcoming. I feel like I'm sitting around the table with y'all. I get so much motivation to get my stuff done listening to all get finished. I'd love it if you were weekly. We have heard that before as well, but right now we're keeping it semi-weekly. But thank you so much for that review.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't know, maybe someday, guys, maybe we will change to weekly.
We'll have to see.
No commitment.
Yes.
Sorry, Billy might cut that.
Yes. Well, this has been a great episode. It's always fun to do the listener questions. And especially as we mentioned earlier today, we learned a lot and we got some good ideas. So thank you. Our next episode will be Monday, August 12th, 2024. That is first day of school here in Southern Nevada.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
Yay.
Oh, that's the first day.
crazy. That's the first day of
it's
school.
a little bit. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Finn will be so happy. Last year, the first day of school was on his birthday.
Yes.
And he was kind of like, oh, is this cool? And I'm like, so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
He wasn't loving it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So thanks for joining us today. And thanks so much for stopping by.